So, good morning, my dear students. Today's topic is Introduction to Nervous System. So, we will discuss about the nervous system. Nervous system controls all the activities of the body. It is quicker than other control system in the body, namely endocrine system. Primarily, nervous system is divided into two parts. Number one, central nervous system. Second, peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord, and it is formed by neurons and supporting cells called neuroglia. Structures of brain and spinal cord are arranged in two layers, namely gray matter and white matter. Gray matter is formed by nerve cell bodies and the proximal part of the nerve fibers arising from nerve cell body. White matter is formed by remaining parts of the nerve fibers. In brain, white matter is placed in the inner part of the gray matter is placed in the outer part. In spinal cord, white matter is in the outer part and gray matter is in the inner part. The brain is situated in the skull and it is continued as spinal cord in the vertebral canal through the foramen magnum of the skull bone. Brain and spinal cord are surrounded by three layers of the meninges called the outer dura mater, middle arachnoid matter and inner pia mater. The space between arachnoid matter and pia matter is known as subarachnoid space, and this space is filled with the fluid called cerebrospinal fluid, also known as CSF. Brain and spinal cords are actually suspended in the cerebrospinal fluid. Important part of the brain and segments of the spinal cord are shown in figure number 133.1. Now, part of the brain consists of three major divisions: prosencephalon, mesencephalon and rhombencephalon. Now, these are the parts of the central nervous system. Brain and spinal cord is divided as a midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, cerebrum, then cervical segment, thoracic segments, lumbar segment, sacral segment, and coccygeal segments. These comes under the spinal cord. Now, parts of the brain is divided into three parts: prosencephalon, forebrain; mesencephalon, midbrain; rhombencephalon, hindbrain. Forebrain is again divided into two: telencephalon and diencephalon. Again it is divided to cerebral hemispheres, basal ganglia, hippocampus, amygdaloid, nucleus. Similarly, thalamus, hypothalamus, metathalamus, subthalamus. Now, hindbrain, further division is to metencephalon, melencephalon, medulla oblongata, pons and cerebellum. Now, organization of the nervous system. Nervous system can divide into two parts: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. CNS, further division, brain and spinal cord, whereas in PNS there is also division to autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Now, autonomic nervous system, again division to sympathetic division and parasympathetic division. So, peripheral nervous system is formed by neurons and their processes present in the regions of the body. It consists of the cranial nerves arising from brain and spinal nerves arising from the spinal cord, and it is again divided into two subdivisions: Number 1, somatic nervous system. Number 2, autonomic nervous system. Number 1, somatic nervous system is concerned with the somatic functions. It includes the nerves supplying the skeletal muscle. Somatic nervous system is responsible for muscular activities and movement of the body. Second, autonomic nervous system is concerned with regulation of the visceral or vegetative functions. So it is otherwise called vegetative or involuntary nervous system. Autonomic nervous system consists of two divisions, sympathetic division and parasympathetic division. Now neurons. What is neuron? Neuron or nerve cell is defined as the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. Neuron is similar to any other cells in the body, having nucleus and all the organelles in the cytoplasm. However, it is different from the other cells by two ways. Number 1, neuron has branches or processes called axon and dendrites. 2, neurons does not have centrosome, so it cannot be undergo in the division. Neurons are classified into three different methods. Number 1, A, depending upon the number of poles. Number B, depending upon the functions. Number C, depending upon the length of actions. Now, depending upon the number of poles, based on the number of poles from which the nerve fibers arises, neurons are divided into three: unipolar neurons, bipolar neurons, multipolar neurons. Now, what is unipolar neurons? Unipolar neurons are the neurons that have only one pole. From a single pole, both axon and dendrite arising. And this type of nerve cells is present only in the embryonic stage in the human beings. Number 2, bipolar neurons are known as the bipolar neurons. Axon arising from one pole and dendrites arising from the other pole. Number 3, multipolar neurons are the neurons which have many poles. One of the poles give rise to axon and all other poles give rise to the dendrites. These are the types of the neurons which we have shown in the diagram: unipolar neurons, bipolar neurons and multipolar neurons. Now, depending upon the functions, on the basis of the functions, nerve cells are classified into two. Number 1, motor or efferent neurons. Number 2, sensory or afferent neurons. So number 1, motor or efferent neurons are the neurons which carry the motor impulses from the central nervous system to peripheral effect organs like muscles, glands, blood cells. Generally, each motor neurons has a long axon and short dendrites, whereas sensory or afferent neurons, which carry the sensory impulses from the periphery to central nervous system. Generally, each sensory neurons has a short axon and long dendrites. Now, depending upon the length of the axons, neurons are divided into two: Golgi type 1 neurons, Golgi type 2 neurons. Golgi type 1 neurons have long axons. Cell body of these neuron is the different part of the central nervous system, and their axons reaches the remote peripheral organs. Golgi type 2 neurons have short axons, and these neurons are present in the cerebral cortex and spinal cord. Now, structure of the neurons. Neuron is made up of the three parts: nerve cell body, dendrite and axon. Dendrite and axon of the process of the neurons. Dendrites are short processes and the axons are long processes. Dendrites and axons are usually called nerve fibers. So nerve cell body is also known as a soma or pericardiona, and it is irregular in shape like any other cells, and it is constituted by mass of the cytoplasm called neuroplasm, which is covered by a cell membrane. The cytoplasm contains a large nucleus, missile body, neurofibers, fibril, mitochondria and Golgi apparatus. Nissil body and neurofibers are found only in nerve cells and not in the other cells. A nucleus. Each neuron has one nucleus which is centrally placed in the nerve cell body. Nucleus has one or two prominent nuclei. Nucleus does not contain centrosome, so the nerve cells cannot multiply like other cells. Nissil body, Nisi body are Nisi granules are small basophilic granules found in the cytoplasm of neurons and are named after the discoverer. These bodies are present in the soma or dendrites but not in axons and axon analog. Nissil body are called trigoid substances since these bodies are responsible for the trigoid or spotted appearance of the soma after suitable staining. Dendrites are the distinguished from axon by the presence of the initial granules under microscope. And this is the structure of the microscope which we have shown here: the dendrites, soma, myelin sheath, axon, axon hillock, nucleus and Nissil body granules. So neurofibrils are thread-like structures present in the form of the network in the soma and the nerve process. Presence of the neurofibrils is another characteristic features of the neurons. The neurofibrils consist of the microfilaments and the microtubules. So mitochondria are present in the soma and axon as in other cells. Here also mitochondria from powerhouse of the nerve cells where ATP is produced. Now Golgi apparatus of nerve cell body is similar to that other cells, and it is concerned with the processing of the packing of the proteins into the granules. Now dendrites is the branched process of the neuron, and it is branched repeatedly. Dendrite may be present in absent, and if present it may be one or many number. Dendrite are Nissil granules and neurofibrils. Dendrite transmits impulses towards the nerve cell body. Usually the dendrites is shorter than the axon. So axon is the longer process of the nerve cells. Each neuron has only one axon. Axon arises from the axon hillock and of the nerve cells body, and it is devoid in the initial granules. Axon extends from the long distance away from the nerve cells body. Length of the longest axon is about 1 meter, and axon transmits the impulses away from the nerve cells body. Now organization of the nerve. Each nerve is formed by the many bundles of the group of nerve fibers, and each bundles of the nerve fibers is also called fasciculus. So covering of the nerve. The whole nerve is covered by the tubular sheath, which is formed by the alveolar membrane, and this sheath is called epineurum, and each fasciculus is covered by the perineum, and each nerve fibers is covered by the endothelium. So internal structure of the axis cylinder. Axon has long central core of the cytoplasm called exoplasm. Exoplasm is covered by the tubular sheath-like membrane and called exolemia. Exolemia is the contribution of the cell membrane of the nerve cell body, and exoplasm along with the exoplasm is called the axial cylinder of the nerve cells body. And this is the cross section of the nerves: fascius, fasciculus, nerve fibers, and endothelium, perineum, and epiperineum. And now this is the classification of the nerve fibers. The basic of the classification: nerve fibers are classified into 6 different methods. The basis of the classification of the different in each method. Different methods of the classification are listed. Thank you.